What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. Let's get into this conversation. I wanted to talk about this story, actually. I saw this on the Sandra Rose blog, so I'm just going to read it as it is written because, I think it was just kind of the way it was written. It was funny. But I get it. This Hollywood strike is no laughing matter, and it really is affecting a lot of people in negative ways. But the reason I wanted to share this story is because I read a lot of the people's comments, and I want to share how people really feel about him struggling. Billy Porter is who I'm going to be talking about, and he is the actor and star, I would say, of the hit show Pose. And he's also known for his really outrageous fashion statements, shall we say, on the red carpet. And he is going through a divorce right now. So it seems like two very big things that are just not good for him are happening all at the same time. So I'm going to share the story and I'm going to share people's comments. So what I am saying, I'm reading, guys, okay? So I'm not I'm not saying this. And there's one word that I thought was like, oh, wow. But anyway, actor Billy Porter says he's forced to sell his home amid the ongoing strikes in Hollywood. But sources say he fears losing his home in his bitter divorce. The Pole star and his longtime partner, Adam Smith, have split after 6 years of unholy matrimony. Their breakup was announced last month amid the ongoing writer's strike. The decision was an amicable and mutual one and was made after much consideration. Porter's rep, Simon Halls, said in a statement to People. Porter described marriage as a dream after both were raised in households where homosexuality was labeled an abomination. But sources say Smith is seeking half of Porter's estate and spousal support. Porter, who is HIV positive, is reportedly livid at the idea of paying his former partner spousal support. Porter and Smith, his partner and husband, met in 2009 at a dinner party and dated for nearly a year before calling it quits. They decided to give their relationship another try in 2015 and got engaged a year later. They said, "I do" in an intimate ceremony in January 2017. Now the Cinderella star is telling friends he's broke and can't afford to pay his divorce lawyer, much less paying spousal support. Porter reportedly regrets not asking Smith to sign a prenuptial agreement. Actor Billy Porter is among the Hollywood celebs who are forced to sell their homes amid the ongoing actors' strike and writers' strike. Porter revealed in a recent interview that he has to sell his house because he doesn't make FU money like other stars. Money is tight for Porter and other celebs amid the ongoing writers and actors strikes. Porter said he was living paycheck to paycheck to afford the luxury lifestyle he's grown accustomed to. "I have to sell my house," Porter told Evening Standard. "Yeah, because we're on strike, and I don't know when we're going to go back. The life of an artist, until you make FU money, which I haven't made yet, is still check to check. I was supposed to be in a new movie and on a new television show starting in September. None of that is happening. So to the person who said, we're going to starve them out until they have to sell their apartments, you've already starved me out." Porter lashed out at Disney CEO Bob Iger for calling the strikers disruptive forces and saying their demands were unrealistic. To hear Bob Iger say that our demands for a living wage are unrealistic while he makes $78,000 a day, I don't have any words for it, but F you, Porter said about Iger. "That's not useful, so I've kept my mouth shut. I haven't engaged because I'm so enraged. When I go back, I will join the picket lines." So that's the story. Now, first and foremost, I don't know. I don't know where he was in the point of his career because I don't follow him, much like I don't follow a lot of celebrities. But I don't know why he didn't get a prenuptial agreement. Like, to me, I feel like in that industry alone, that should be common sense, especially when you know that your goal is to make a good deal of money. No, you may not become a Tom Cruise where you just have to make one movie every 5 or 6 years maybe, but you're still good to go. I get that. But I don't know why he wouldn't get a prenuptial agreement. And 2, he says he was living check to check. And again, I don't understand the life of a celebrity, never did, never will, and I have no desire to, because it's not the life that I choose or want to aspire to. But I've heard some people say, and I absolutely agree with, I get it. I guess when you are working in that industry, you have to be close so that you can get to the jobs. But if you're not working every day, why are you living there? Because unless you are, like, in my opinion, filthy rich and wealthy, I don't think living out there is for people who really can't afford it. And then in the story, it says that he was living check to check to afford the luxury lifestyle that he's become accustomed to. Well, whose fault is that? Because if you can't afford to live a luxury lifestyle, you may want to taste it every now and then, and I get that. But if you can't really afford to live that, then whose fault is that? So I'm not saying that I don't feel any sympathy towards him, but I'm just saying. And apparently a lot of people don't really have much sympathy for him either, because I'm just going to share some of the comments from this story. One person says, so he's mad, but he hasn't even joined the picket lines yet? Shut the F up, dude. Even my Z-list is out there daily. So I'm assuming that person may be working in the industry. I don't know. Anyway, someone else says, I call BS when I heard this earlier. Sir, the strike is about a month in and you're losing your house? Nah, that definitely sounded like more was going on. And wouldn't you know it, his guy is leaving him over this. And then the rest of the comment, I don't really know what they're talking about, so I'm not even going to read that because it doesn't really make much sense. But anyway, someone else says, so no prenup. No matter who you are, if you have money, avoid marriage and having kids out of wedlock. If he had the house prior to his union, it's his to keep. If it was brought together, regardless of who paid for it, the court will mandate a 50-50 split. If he sells it, he better not spend his half. Also, if he sells it for less than the actual value to spite him, just in case he has to give him 50%, the judge can revoke the sale. He has to sell at value. And someone else says, I don't feel sorry for him. He chose to spend his money on all those gaudy things and live above his means. There are plenty of people who live within their means and live paycheck to paycheck, trying to keep a roof over their heads. They are not prancing around in crazy get-ups trying to impress others. They are working 2 to 3 jobs to live and take care of their family. Does his husband work? And I can definitely understand where this person is coming from. And that's a good question. I don't know anything about his husband, so I don't know if he works. But if he does work, I'm assuming that Billy must have been the breadwinner in this relationship or marriage, because they're saying that he's going to be seeking spousal support. Usually, if the other person is the one that is more of the breadwinner, they're not going to be seeking support, right? Another person's comment says he has HIV, a white husband, going through a divorce, spousal payments, selling his home. I think this was a Tyler Perry movie if I didn't know better. Okay. Hey, Tyler Perry, he might be coming up with an idea from this. Who knows? But anyway. And someone else commented, and they say, isn't it ironic that he is married to a white man, but, and then they have in quotes, so I'm assuming this is something that he said, Billy Porter. It says, Porter shared his views on race in the U.S. in a 2020 interview with Vanity Fair, saying, "The reason why our country is in the mess we're in is simply because of whiteness, white supremacy, white people chokeholding power and sucking the life out of humanity," end quote. And they have an emoji with crying, laughing. So I guess they're pretty much calling Billy Porter a hypocrite. I don't know. Your judgment is is definitely welcome in the comment section about that. But yeah, I'm assuming that's what they're pretty much trying to call him, a hypocrite, because to say those things and then you're not a white man, but you're married to one, it's kind of ironic. Anyway, he says that he's struggling right now because of the writers and actors strike, and he's not even on the picket lines, but he's pissed because he's going to have to sell his home and possibly pay alimony as he's going through this bitter divorce right now. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because one, I thought it was kind of funny that the person who wrote this article called their union unholy matrimony. I don't know if they meant to do that. I don't really know if it was a typo. I caught that. And I thought I literally laughed when I saw that. And even some people in the comment section, they mentioned it too. So I wanted to share this story because, yeah, there's a lot going on right now in Hollywood, but normal everyday folks like you and I are really not feeling empathy for them. I'm not saying that we don't care, and no one wants anyone to be in a position where they're not able to take care of their regular duties or pay their bills or whatever. But for regular people like us who are regular business owners, such as myself, or have, jobs, whether you're making a lot of money or not as much, and you may be having to work, like this commenter said, 2 and 3 jobs to get by, the last thing we're thinking about is feeling sorry for someone like Billy Porter, who says that he is living check to check to afford the luxury lifestyle that he has become accustomed to. It's like people adjust all day, every day, and pivot and make changes to just be able to survive. So if you can't afford to be living out there, then don't be living out there. I don't think that it's like some of us, whereas we have to be as close as possible to where we work because we're there most of the time, versus people like these whose jobs are pretty much seasonal. So you probably could afford to get by staying in an Airbnb or even maybe traveling back and forth, but living somewhere that's not as expensive as living out in LA, because unless you're uber rich or wealthy, it's just not feasible. And then I know when I look at shows like House Hunters on HGTV and you see people that are looking for homes in California and their homes are like so small for the prices that you have to pay, it's absolutely crazy. It's like for what? An 800 square foot house for $500,000? That's absolutely insane to me. I'm sorry. I would change my career. I would change everything if I am used to living out there and that's all I know. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to learn something different. I'm going to have to move to another state, another city, whatever. I'm not staying there. It's really ridiculous. Housing is already outrageous right now overall. And I'm not even going to dive into that rabbit hole right now, but I'm just saying, for him to say that he's living check to check to afford to live the luxury lifestyle that he's become accustomed to, and now he's conveniently, and I'm not saying on his part because I don't know who chose to end the relationship, him or his longtime partner and husband, Adam Smith, splitting after 6 years of what the article says, unholy matrimony. But either way, you just have to pivot and do something different. And if you really are so pissed at Bob Iger for making $78,000 a day, I'm not saying you being out on the picket lines is going to change the situation, but there are people out there that are picketing in the heat and you're sitting here complaining and you're not even out there joining them. And you're like, when I get back, I'll join. What are you doing now? So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. I I'm not laughing at his situation. I don't wish harm or hurt or on anyone, but in the grand scheme of things and in comparison to what everyday people are going through, rents are out the roof. People who want to be able to purchase homes, they're kind of being phased out because the American dream, I believe, is becoming a nightmare because of how the pricing of homes is rapidly rising. To me, even though I'm grateful to be a homeowner, I look around and I see people who really want to be able to do that, and they're struggling to try to just get to that point because it's easier to go and buy a car. You can go and get a Lambo today and have horrible credit, but if you want to purchase a home, then they really make it unfeasible for a lot of people because they would rather you have liabilities than assets. So it's easier to get a liability than it is to get an asset. So if you want to go and get a credit card or get a car, fine. If you want to get a home mortgage or a business loan, they put you through the ringer. The ringer. You want to get some student loan debt? Easy breezy. But if you want to get help to pay it down or pay it off, or God forbid I speak profanity right now, but get it canceled. And of course, I'm not speaking profanity, but there are people out here that are like, they don't deserve to get their student loans canceled. But it's like you get student loans for $20,000 and then you have to pay back $40,000. Just giving an example. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm just saying, because of what struggles normal everyday people are going through, I'm sorry, Billy Porter, but a lot of people are just not feeling sympathy for you right now. And I just wanted to talk about that because I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't know a whole lot about him, but just the things I've seen about him, he's usually dressed in these designer fashions on the red carpet that I'm quite sure are not cheap. And he may not have even purchased them. They were probably lent to him because a lot of that does happen. But at any rate, you're struggling to live in check to continue to live the luxury lifestyle that you've become accustomed to. And now you're pissed because you're separating and your husband may want some spousal support that you say you can't afford. So now you're going to have to sell your house. Listen, you can't expect sympathy from people who are just trying to make it with what they have going on in their own personal lives. And you also, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, can expect sympathy from someone like Bob Iger, who's making $78,000 a day. And he's probably like, Billy Porter who? So I'm just saying, guys, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I am Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.